are tuned in to the NUC NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show.
Welcome back to the NUC NFL Draft Bibles Players Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and we are presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. To nominate a player for the third annual College Gridiron Showcase and Symposium, log on to cgsallstar.com and stay tuned for our 2017 College Gridiron Showcase watch list presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, which will be posted immediately following the 2016 NFL Draft. We're 1 week away. Again, follow College Gridiron Showcase on Twitter at CGSAllstar. The College Gridiron Showcase, it's not where you play, but how you play. And joining the Player Spotlight Show now is Dino Teague, the defensive back out of Pittsburgh State University. And Dino, we appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. Can you believe that we're only 7 to 10 days away from finding out where you'll be continuing your college football playing career at?
Oh, man, I cannot, man. But first off, I want to say I appreciate you having me on here, Christian. Thanks. It's an honor. But it's very big right now, you know, this decision that is coming up. You know, we don't know what's going on. I've been working out with a few teams, and, you know, right now I can't name those, but it's looking good. I got a heavy interest from both NFL and CFL, so I know my future's bright. I'm just waiting on that moment to happen, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned both NFL and CFL interest is there. So for whatever reason, if the NFL doesn't come calling you first and you do have to take another route to a different league, and let's say the CFL or AFL gives you a call, you'd be more than willing to do that.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, CFL, there's nothing wrong with those guys. I look at a lot of stats and people that have made transitions into the NFL, you know, and even if I didn't make that transition into the NFL from CFL, there wouldn't be a bad league to be a part of because, you know, they have produced a lot of top caliber guys. Like you seen the guy from Germany. I was watching ESPN the other day. There was some guy from Germany. I don't know his name, but it just shows you the monument of how football is going. And, you know, wherever I can play football and continue my legacy, that's what I'm going to be happy to do. But I know big things are coming.
Oh, no doubt about it. And yeah, I mean, we see pretty much year by year. I mean, we see guys from the CFL, from the AFL, and as you mentioned, now from the German Football League. I think that the guy that you're thinking of is the wide receiver Moritz Boehringer, who has really generated quite a bit of buzz after he really dominated his pro day at Florida Atlantic. I mean, yeah, I mean, just because you're playing in one league doesn't mean that you can't ultimately make the jump to the NFL. We see it every year. And, Dino, I see that you were able to participate in one of the NFL regional combines as well as the Pitt State Pro Day, and some of the top numbers that you put up include a 4.6 40-yard dash, a 36-inch vert, and 10-11 broad jump, which really stands out. Are those the numbers that you kind of expected to record? I mean, were you satisfied with the way that you performed at those two events?
Oh, yes, definitely. I was. First off, all glory goes to God, and I want to give a big shout-out to my training staff. You know, I worked with Athletic Republic. You know, they really took care of me, and it was a fun experience. You know, they prepped me for everything that was going to go on, and, you know, it was a lot of God-given ability as well, you know, hard work and effort. But when I went there and did everything I did, you know, it was fun. I knew I could put up those numbers. I was looking to put up big numbers. You know, the 40 could have been a little bit better, but I'm still satisfied with what I did because I worked hard. And I also ran a 393 shuttle. So that right there is something that I feel proud about. So all of my numbers that I put up, they really, you know, stand out, you know, especially that 10-11 broad. A lot of guys aren't jumping 10-11 broads. That right there is amazing in its own self right there. You know, I'm not trying to boast and brag. There's guys putting up 11s as well, but a 10-11, you're putting yourself in an elite program when you do that. Now, that 393 shuttle, that also right there is some solid numbers to stand on as well. That's something big, you know. A lot of people aren't able to move that quick from side to side, and that's what DBs need to have right there.
Absolutely, and you know what? I mean, those are kind of a credit to the hard work that you put in throughout, you know, getting ready for those two events, the NFL Regional Combine and your Pro Day. I mean, a couple of the biggest job interviews that you'll ever have. And you don't necessarily need to name the teams or anything like that, but what has some of the feedback been like since your pro day, since the NFL Regional Combine? I mean, again, you don't need to name any teams, but what are some of these scouts telling you?
These scouts are telling me, look for a shot at least of mini camp. There's a lot of guys telling me I'm number one on a couple of their boys that they got up, and these are throughout different leagues as well. But I'm just saying all of the feedback that I'm getting, so I'm hearing pretty good feedback. There's heavy interest. A lot of guys are telling me I'm going to get a shot at camp. So as long as I get a spot at somebody's camp, I know I'm going to put on and do what I need to do as a player and excel and show them that I'm one of those guys that's willing to learn, make those adjustments, stay on the field. I'm hungry. I'm out here. I'm a young guy. I'm humble. I know where I come from. I worked hard to excel at this game and, strive at the level I have to become what I've become. So, I'm just looking for that chance to show guys that I'm a cat that you can have on your team that's going to give you everything you got.
And sometimes all you need is that one tryout, that one shot. I mean, Malcolm Butler certainly looks like he's doing well nowadays with the New England Patriots. I would say Super Bowl MVP of that game. Tom Brady did get the MVP, but even Tom Brady himself knew that MVP trophy and truck should have gone to Malcolm Butler, a former Division II cornerback as well at West Alabama. And we are chatting with the 2016 NFL draft prospect, Dino Teague, the defensive back out of Pitt State, joining us here on the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. And, Dino, looking at your Pittsburgh State Gorillas football career, you didn't become a full-time starting cornerback until this past season as a fifth-year senior. You were certainly ready when your number was called as you reeled in a team-high 5 interceptions, 8 pass breakups. Were those first few years of yours at Pitt State, were those first few years tough at all, not being able to be on the field as much as you would have liked to? And how were you able to have as big of an impact as you did on the defense when your number was finally called this past season?
Well, first off, I want to give a big shout out to Pitt State, the Gorillas, for giving me the chance that I have had. They gave me the chance to continue playing college football. And I really appreciate that. That's going to always be family. But, it was a little bit difficult, but I had a lot of great guys in front of me, Devontae Bosby, Aries Aaron, and I also did play. I started for a while. It was just a transition, guys beating other guys out. So it goes how it goes, the best man plays. So, but when it is time for me to get college, I know what I'm capable of doing. And this my last senior year really showcased, my ability. I'm explosive. I'm gonna go get the ball and attack it. I was a guy that played wide out coming out of high school, making that transition to cornerback. But making that transition is what you have to do. Where your number's called is when you got to step up. So it was a joy, and I love playing corner, and I know that that's what I'm here to do. My frame and the way I move, my swiftness to the game. I'm very agile. So I'm just ready to go, man. It's fun. And, man, this year in the MIAA, we had a lot of tough, competition. We got a lot of guys that are getting ready to go. Look at Marquise Cushion. That guy, I played with him. He's on my team. That was a Division II All-American as well as myself. We just go out here, Tay Irvin, guys like that. I mean, Deron Washington, who's a young guy coming up, man. We got a lot of guys, in the program that do what they need to do, and it was just a blessing, man. That's all I can say. It was fun. It was a unique experience, and it humbled me as a man and as a person. But I know I'm ready to go, man. That's all I can tell you, man.
You talk about the talent there in the MIAA. I would say, off the top of my head, it's probably the most or best conference in Division II. If it's not the best, it certainly ranks among the best of Division II football. So much talent in it. And, let's leave teammates aside in this one. Let's not mention any teammates, but we will certainly get to a couple of your former teammates now. But who do you think was the best player that you've played against over the last 4 years? Do you know? I mean, was there a quarterback or a wide receiver that you knew heading into that week that you had to bring your A game no matter what?
That's kind of tough because, like you said, there was a lot of competition. I just know me going out there, I gave it my all every time. So because at any moment you can be exposed as a person, you got to bring it all as a corner out there. I feel like that position alone is a beastie position because, you're on an island. Everybody's watching you. That one wrong step or one wrong adjustment on defense, and that's your whole, the game right there. That could be the ending tell to the story about what happened. You know what I'm saying? So that's a win or a loss. That's a win or a loss. And at corner, you just got to have that mindset of be alert at any time because that's your job to adjust.
Yeah, a lot of times at the cornerback position, it's just you and the guy in front of you, and you cannot let that guy get past you. And you mentioned one of your former teammates, Marquise Cushon. He was actually a guest on the show a couple months back talking about his draft process and his collegiate career as you are now. Obviously, one of the better Division II wide receivers out there, of course. You've also been able to go up against John Brown, who we've seen what he's been able to do with the Arizona Cardinals. Now a former third-round draft pick.
Yes, sir. Very good guy.
What was it like? And what was it like going against that kind of competition? I mean, we already talked about the MIAA. It's a loaded conference. But then going up against that competition every single day in practice, I mean, how did that better you throughout the years at Pitt State?
Oh, man, that guy John Brown, that's one of a kind right there, and I was going to get to that as well. I mean, he was a whole different type of athlete, and going against that type of caliber talent every day, man, that just makes you sharpen your craft. I'm telling you, like, he's a guy that can adjust, and that's NFL speed right there. He's elite. He's up there doing it against the best right now. He's having 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, that just shows you what kind of talent we have coming out, and he helped me as well because, that type of speed is elite. You don't see that everywhere. And going against that guy shows guys that you're ready to do it at their level and produce.
Yes, it sure does. And like you said, he's playing with the best of the best and still producing, just like he did back at Pitt State. Again, he's Dino Teague, the 2016 NFL draft prospect, the defensive back out of Pitt State, joining us here on the NUC NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. And, Dino, it's obviously always the dream to play professional football, no matter the level of competition you play, whether it's big-time D1, D2, D3, even NAIA. I got to think if you're playing football at the collegiate level, your dream is always to move on and get paid and, make football your job. When did it become more clear to you that you had a legit shot at pursuing a professional football career?
It really became evident to me when I was in high school because I had a lot of different options and obstacles thrown at me as a high school athlete. And like I said, all grace goes to God. I was one of the very talented coming out of Oklahoma. I can always say that. And, going to college, I had a lot of D1 and D2 interests. Things just happened other ways. But that's when it became evident to me that I was ready to go. But coming to college, and facing guys like you just said right there, John Brown, and seeing those guys go to the next level, playing with the guys like Devontae Bosby, these guys are already at the other level. That's when it became evident to me, that I was ready to go.
Let's say you're able to recommend one game over the last 4 years of yours at Pitt State, playing for the Gorillas, one of the best mascots out in college football, by the way. Let's say you're able to recommend one game over the last 4 years to an NFL scout to go back and check out. What game would you suggest?
I'll honestly have to say probably the Missouri Southern one. We played that on ESPN3. Right off the rip, I took a pick back 51 yards on those guys, reading the quarterback. I took that back to the house on the first possession. That was a 51-yarder. The coach had prepped us very good that week, and I was just ready to go. I was at my craft. You see me chasing down running backs, making tackles, getting involved in on special teams, just making plays all throughout that game. I had various good games this year. I was on a consecutive streak of interceptions back to back, so you could just put the tape on and roll. I was having interceptions consecutively. You know what I'm saying? I was coming constant with them consistently, reading plays, picking off the best quarterbacks.
Okay. So, like you said, I mean, it doesn't matter what game you put in, they'll see you produce in any game that they watch. So I you know what, and right there, I mean, you can just hear the confidence in your voice. I mean, how big is confidence to your game, and how big is it for the cornerback position? I got to think that if you're going out there and you're not thinking that you have a legit shot at winning that matchup, that you're going to get burned anyway. So how big is confidence just to the cornerback position alone?
Oh, man, confidence is major. Confidence is very major. If you're not a confident corner, I don't think that you're going to make it. I mean, it's not to be boastful or anything like that, but it's just like their wideout. The wideout has a mentality that they're going to, be that person that makes something happen that play. So at corner, your job is to stop that man from doing that. If not, he's going to embarrass you. I don't think a lot of people like to be embarrassed. You don't play this game to get embarrassed, man. You play the game to, like, do what you're supposed to do and make yourself look like the man you are. And that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at corner, you just really have to have that confidence, because if not, that's going to show that you're a shaky corner. Like, you hear it all the time. Commentators say it after you give up a big pass and the corner can't, shake back and totally, just let that last play go as a person. They say, oh, he's rattled. We have him on his edge. Something like that among those lines. And that just shows you the type of caliber confidence that they're expecting you to have as well. So you just have to have that fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially at the cornerback position, like you said. What do you feel separates you from any of the other cornerbacks in this year's draft class, Dino?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, my explosion, and my coaching, my coachability. See, me as a player, I'm like a sponge. I'm willing to learn, make those adjustments, do what I need to do as a player, as a person. I give back to the community. I was honor roll, academic All-American 4 years straight. So I'm smart. I'm a guy that can learn. I'm not one of those guys that's lacking in that area. And, I'm very agile, like I said. I'm durable. I don't have too much injury on me, so I feel like I'm ready to go, man. I'm still at my peak because I'm young, coming straight out of college. I'm ready to go.
High character and high performance on the field. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that right there, especially being 1 week away from the NFL draft. I mean, teams are really trying to really find any dirt on any prospect out there. And obviously, it's really been a pleasure chatting with you, Dino. Just a couple more questions, and then we'll let you go. Really appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. Growing up, or even over the last few years, I mean, were you watching a current or former NFL defensive back and try and take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
Yeah, I like to watch the greats like Charles Woodson. That guy, he was just so patient back there. And then you have those new guys like Richard Sherman. He's big, long, physical. And I feel like that's the type of game that I bring. I'm big, I may not be, just the heaviest, but I'm weighing in at 188. And my arm span is so long, I forgot what it was. I think it was around 71, 72. I don't know. It was something around those edges. But me, I can stay back, be patient, use my distance, use my, my knowledge of the game. And that's what I think that those guys display. Tyrann Mathieu, he makes plays happen. He's explosive. Pat P, he goes up and attacks the ball. That's the type of corner that I'm going to be, and I take all of those guys' game. You have to be able to, learn from each and every one of the greats. And, that goes all the way back to Deion Sanders, man. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, some of the best right there, as you mentioned. I mean, you could go from Deion Sanders to Charles Woodson to, some of the top cornerbacks nowadays, and Richard Sherman, Patrick Peterson, and, a guy like Tyrann Mathieu who could play all over the field. Final question. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive back out of Pittsburgh State University, Dino Teague, a part of their team?
Oh, man. They should want me because they're going to get an honest, clean-cut guy, man. I'm 100% dedicated to what I need to do. I'm all in. I'm ready to go. I give everything I need to do to win. I'm the kind of guy that you tell me to do something one time, I'm going to learn and get it right after that. I'm visual, and I can also read and pick up on it. I'm explosive. I'm the kind of guy you want that when it's the game on the line, you need to put me in because I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to give it my all to make sure that we win that game. I've done that. I've come through in clutch situations. The film doesn't lie. You go back to that whole, 2-3 minutes of my film, and it's just explosive plays. And I'm dedicated. That's the biggest thing I can say. I mean, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the job done, and that's a fact.
And dedication, is obviously something you need to be as you now look to make football your job. Dino, congratulations on all the success. Congratulations on the very impressive Pro Day and NFL Regional Combine performance. And we really appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. It's been a lot of fun.
I appreciate that, Christian. Thank you for having me, man. I want to give a shout-out to SLG. They've been pushing me in this, Axios, my family. And like I said, thank you for having me, man. All of my supporters, man.
Absolutely.
We're going to make it. We're on the way to the top, Christian.
Hey, man, it's going to be fun seeing where you land in just, 7 to 10 days, man. Really looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.
There he goes, Dino Teague, the defensive back out of Division II's Pittsburgh State. This is a guy that has played with some of the best in Division II, and as he mentioned a couple times, Devontae Bosby, he's now on the Chicago Bears roster. Going up against guys every day in practice like a John Brown, who we already seen what he's been able to do in the NFL over the last couple of seasons with the Arizona Cardinals, one of the top wide receivers already in the league, in my opinion, John Brown. A third-round draft pick, now looking like a first-round draft pick, really making a lot of plays, and even, one of Dino's teammates that's also entering the draft this year, Marquise Cushion, a guy that, kind of like a John Brown wide receiver. It's going to be funny to see where he lands as well. But Dino Teague, a very physical, as he said, agile cornerback. I mean, his pro day numbers, I mean, that three cone, it really does stand out. And obviously the vertical, the broad jump, and you hear the confidence in his voice is exactly what you need in a cornerback, and certainly a guy that you could take a flyer on in the 6th, 7th round, maybe even a priority free agent. It's going to be fun seeing where this guy lands. Dino Teague, special thanks for calling in to today's show. Again, you guys are tuned into the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt. We are presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. To nominate a player for the 3rd Annual College Gridiron Showcase and Symposium, log on to cgsallstar.com. Stay tuned for our 2017 College Gridiron Showcase watch list presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, which will be posted immediately following the 2016 NFL Draft. We are 1 week away, ladies and gentlemen. Again, follow College Gridiron Showcase on Twitter at CGS All-Star. The College Gridiron Showcase, it's not where you play, it's how you play.